A win is a win is a win, and the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark go up against the Las Vegas Aces and last year's MVP, A'ja Wilson, and walk away with a W, 80-70. Sophie Cunningham has been hot to trot. Sophie Cunningham has been on fire.
What happens if A'ja Wilson's Las Vegas Aces are defeated by the Indiana Fever despite losing their best player? The response will fundamentally alter your perception of this group. Her teammates took care of business on the court as Caitlin Clark sat on the bench out due to an injury but continued to grow angry with the referees. When it counted most, Kelsey Mitchell lost 21 points. Additionally, Sophie Cunningham just emerged as the league's most attractive player. This was more than simply a victory, literally. Everyone in the league was shocked by the statement. How did the Fever achieve this resounding triumph, then? What action did Sophie take in this game that resulted in her having to replay it? If you're fired up, leave a comment and redo Sophie. Come on, let's go.
Back in the W side.
Oh, that was a gut check win right there. Oh, nothing in the chat. Yes, Natasha Howard.
Fever
That was a fun one. My gosh, and these jerseys are swaggy.
Imagine this. Your best player is sitting on the bench in street clothes due to a groin ailment after your club just lost back-to-back games to the Liberty. On July 24th, the Indiana Fever found themselves making their way back into Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Those two consecutive defeats sat heavy in the air. The same question was being asked by everyone. In the absence of Caitlin Clark, who is the Fever?
There's no timeline for Caitlin, but what has she been able to do this last week? Is it mostly just rehab recovery, or has she been able to do any kinds of practice?
Yeah, no, I mean, we haven't really practiced since the couple days before All-Star break. So mostly rehab, shooting, and she's been with our athletic training team, and we've been preparing everybody else.
The Fever's record of 12 wins and 12 losses only partially reflected the situation. Their playoff prospects were no longer the only thing that critics questioned. All season long, they were penning obituaries. It was cruel on social media. They were portrayed on sports talk shows as imposters who were exposed as soon as their superstar status faded. The story was straightforward and heartbreaking. If you take away Clark, nothing unique remains. With each day that went by, the pressure increased. There was playoff seeding up for grabs. Now, every game counted. A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces, the reigning champions, stood in their way who was able to detect blood in the water with precision. The Aces entered Indianapolis with a record of 12 wins and 11 losses, but they exuded the poise of season winners.
Steph, Caitlin presents a challenge in itself for any opponent, but when she doesn't play, how is your team different?
I think our ball moves differently. What we run is different. She has such gravity and her ability, not just to be at the top of the scouting report, but her ability to make everybody better with the ball in her hands. So some of the things that we run are different when she's on the floor than when she's not. We run some more off-ball stuff, a lot less on-ball actions.
No one was more affected by this moment than Coach Stephanie White. She was aware that the identity of her team would be completely defined by this game. Were they merely another squad that required their star player to have any chance of winning, or were they genuine contenders capable of competing with top teams? When doubt was beginning to enter into everyone's thoughts, White needed to find the perfect words to use when speaking to her players.
Yeah, it's definitely a relief to know that there's nothing else going on and no more damage. Now it's just being patient with the process. You can't have 5-minute lapses against great teams. They make you pay and they bury you in those moments. I think we've seen throughout the course of the season, where we've been really good for long stretches and where we've weathered the ups and downs of a game, and we've got to be able to do that from a neutral mindset. We can't get into the playing conservative.
The Aces entered with assurance, perhaps even arrogance. During warm-ups, you could see it in their body language. At the time of Clark's injury, A'ja Wilson and her Olympic colleagues most likely marked this game on their calendar. This was their chance to confirm what many had long suspected, that the Fever were just a one-woman show masquerading as a basketball team. Over the previous 2 seasons, Wilson had been battling her own jealousy issues with Clark. She now had the opportunity to prove to everyone who the true MVP was. This was probably the Aces' statement game, their opportunity to remind the league that titles are more important than publicity. However, this is where the narrative takes a surprising turn that nobody anticipated. Having everyone on the squad count them out entirely is sometimes the nicest thing that can happen to them. Every single doubt served as gasoline for the Fever. They turned their worst shortcoming into their greatest asset. The WNBA as a whole was shocked by what transpired next, which made it clear that this team was far from done. When all went well, the Fever were going to demonstrate that champions aren't created. When everything goes wrong, they are formed.
Let's go!
Okay, when we answered runs today, y'all, we had one another's back today, y'all. In the moments where it seemed like they could have made a little bit of a comeback, we stopped that. Yeah, we sure did. Now we have to be able to continue to stack that, maintain that consistency right there. I'm so proud of you guys. So proud of you guys. That was a hard-fought win. You earned it. We got all three, 1, 2, 3 together.
Sometimes the quietest member of your team stands up to be the hero your team needs. Additionally, Kelsey Mitchell was prepared for her turn. Because of her erratic play, Mitchell had been under fire the entire season. She vanished when the Fever needed to be scored the most, according to critics. Their ideas were also supported by the data. When it mattered most, Mitchell would shoot 3 for 15 the following game after going off for 20 points the night before. At the beginning of this match versus the Aces, those doubts appeared to be entirely valid. Mitchell appeared completely out of rhythm and missed her first few attempts. With each failed attempt, you could see the frustration mounting on her face. At Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the audience began to become agitated. They sensed that without Clark's playmaking brilliance, the Fever's offense would collapse. Mitchell experienced the weight of each and every miss. With every shot that failed to fall, the pressure continued to build. After 3 quarters, her field goal percentage was 4 of 19. Players that have those kinds of numbers are benched during pivotal games. Coach Stephanie White, however, had an alternative strategy.
Handoff Cunningham. Cunningham too strong. Mitchell able to save the day. And it's Mitchell going right to the rim. Beats the shot clock and lays it in. Mitchell to the rescue.
Sessions very disruptive, causing all kinds of havoc. Late shot clock situations. And then Kelsey Mitchell.
During a timeout, White drew Mitchell aside and gave him the message that would make all the difference. Let it go. It will go. White informed her star guard. Mitchell needed to hear those straightforward words, and they did. Mitchell was also reminded by White to maintain his equilibrium when attacking the rim in order to make better reads and choices. In ways that don't often appear in the box score, Mitchell's teammates began to support her. They gave her the ball in more advantageous locations. To persuade her to open up, they set harsher screens. They gave Mitchell the room she needed to regain her confidence and rhythm.
Wilson thought about the 3. Cunningham feed inside. Boston spinning, turning, ducking, finding Mitchell, who splashes home a 3.
Then, in the second half, something suddenly clicked. From all across the court, Mitchell began to hit shots. Her quickness started to pose a serious threat to the A's defense. She was finishing through contact while driving hard to the basket. When she pulled up for mid-range jumpers, she only saw net.
Fun, couple of former teammates, played 2 years together.
Clear out, take it.
Mitchell sizing up Lloyd. She will launch and bury a 3.
Get out of the way. Mitchell pulled a trigger from deep. Fever up 9.
When the game was on the line, Mitchell's personal performance took center stage in the fourth quarter. In those last 12 minutes, she scored 9 important points. When it counted most, she made 4 of 5 field goals. Mitchell tied for the team high mark with 4 assists as well. She was taking over the scoring load and creating plays for her teammates.
Got 2 really good offensive coaches over there on the sideline.
Mitchell finds a cutting Boston, who lays it in. From Mitchell here on this one.
So you don't want anybody to cut across the front of your face, but it's just a really good delivery.
It's not simply the Caitlin Clark effect. Rewriting the playbook is what it is. This isn't fake publicity. The best thing a teammate can do is to make a gravitational shift. Leap onto the rocket and allow it to take you off. Aaliyah. Boston is already a top city. For years, she has dominated the paint with poise, toughness, and basketball acumen. However, the cameras are now rolling. The casual fans are now starting to take notice. People who are scrolling through channels are abruptly pausing in the middle. I mean, who is that post beast that breaks double teams and moves like she's dancing ballet because she's bored? That's AB. Additionally, because to Clark's attention, the entire finale, the Fever roster is in focus. The gamers who have been toiling away in the background are now shining. Analysis of off-ball movement is being done in slow motion. Sales of jerseys are increasing. The number of highlight reels is growing. Nobody is claiming that Caitlin made them famous. Such talent doesn't require a cosign. However, she gained attention and visibility. For years, women's hoops have been in need of attention. The megaphone is her. The message is them. And now it is quite evident to everyone.
Offense was not the issue for Indiana on Tuesday. They put up 84 points despite the absence of Caitlin Clark. Cunningham hit 5 threes, and it's her first tonight. Stay with Indiana.
So Sophie Cunningham doing a really good job of reading the stagger. You have options off that, and she's reading the second.
Wow.
Sophie Cunningham subtly emerged as the league's most dangerous shooter while everyone was preoccupied with who would take Clark's place at the top of the scoring charts. She was on a blistering hot streak going into this matchup with the Aces, having reached double figures in 6 games in a row. It was becoming impossible to ignore the numbers. Cunningham was making 3.0 three-pointers per night and averaging 13.7 points and 4.7 rebounds per game.
What's your...
Yes.
What is it about her, I guess, at the start of a game that you like having her in the lineup?
Another ball handler, another player who can create shots for her teammates, as well as stretch the floor. A really good defensive rebounder as well. We had at times really struggled from a defensive rebounding standpoint, so like that as well. And her energy.
Whether she could continue to shoot well was not the question. Cunningham's ability to knock down shots was well known. The true test was whether she could keep up this amazing speed while against top opponents like Asia Wilson's championship team. There was a change in the pressure. Teams began creating game plans especially for her explosive shooting. The figures were nearly too good to be true. During her final 6 games, Cunningham's three-point shooting percentage was 58.1%. She was the most attractive shooter in the whole WNBA in July thanks to her percent. Nor were they garbage time threes. When her team needed it most, she was making clutch shots.
This run continues, but Cunningham able to put an end to it.
When the lights were brightest, Cunningham took the court against the Aces. 3 out of 4 attempts from outside the arc were thwarted by her. Her 15 points were more than just a statistic. The Aces were prevented from launching a significant comeback attempt by the precisely timed daggers. Whenever Las Vegas began to get traction, Cunningham would drain 3 more to dash their dreams.
You had Melissa Smith on you. I would just clear it out if you're Mitchell. Just tell everybody, go to the other side of the floor.
Cunningham straight away delivers with a 3.
Or that.
What makes...
Cunningham's shooting isn't the only thing that sets her apart. When needed, she provides leadership, defense, and rebounding. She was added to the starting lineup by Coach Stephanie White especially to take advantage of her enthusiasm and adaptability. Cunningham's ability to spread the floor, grab defensive rebounds, and assist offensively was commended by White. She named another ball handler and shot maker, Cunningham. She is currently the frontrunner for 6th Player of the Year, according to basketball analysts. Who else even comes close, really? Because of her ability to fire clutches, one analyst referred to her as an absolute assassin. She is a serious contender for the award because of her steady scoring and influence off the bench.
Vegas has done a nice job coming on the road, keeping Indiana Fever in check offensively, and Sophie Cunningham, you cannot lose her.
With Cunningham's transition from role player to legitimate weapon, the Fever now have a scoring threat that no one anticipated. After being a compliment, she turned into one of the league's most feared shooters. Some followers are even claiming that anyone who doubts Sophie Cunningham's ability should apologize to her. Her clutch gene and consistency have made her the ideal addition to this team's championship hopes. Caitlin Clark will be joining a team that includes another established scorer who can change the dynamic of the game when she returns from injury. Cunningham has demonstrated that she belongs on the biggest platform in basketball. 35 seconds remain in the game. With the entire triumph hanging in the balance, Ari McDonald took the shot that would make the difference. Everyone understood that the Fever couldn't afford to lose against a championship team like Las Vegas, even though they were holding on to a 5-point advantage. The entire fourth quarter, the Aces had been eroding Indiana's lead. If Las Vegas got a stop and made their shots, they still had time to steal this game. And with A'ja Wilson's side frantically attempting to make one last push for their playoff lives, McDonald caught the ball at the top of the arc. McDonald was under a great deal of strain in that instant. Give the two-time champions a chance to finish their comeback if you miss the shot. Make it and totally dash their dreams. McDonald didn't even pause for a moment. She got to her feet with the assurance of a player who was supposed to be there. The three-pointer from the step back was unafraid. McDonald knew exactly what that shot would signify for her team's season when she took it. Like it was always supposed to go in, the three-pointer flew through the net. The shot destroyed the A's morale entirely and increased the lead. The crowd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse went into a frenzy. They were aware that they had just seen something unique. In this game, McDonald made 3 of his 3 three-point attempts. She had 9 points for assists and 2 steals in 22 minutes, which was an excellent performance overall. However, she only made that crucial 3 in the fourth quarter. Discuss how to make a difference when it counts most. The game's foundation was laid by Natasha Howard's dominant 18 points and 13 rebounds. Howard took control on both ends of the court and made 3 steals. She discussed the way the defense launches their attack. Our attack is sparked by our defense. After the game, Howard remarked, "When defense is going, our offense is going." However, McDonald's shot was the ideal way to cap off Howard's outstanding effort.
Vegas got it locked in right here. One-on-one.
Donald pulls up and hits a 3. But Lloyd got open on the other end.
Then, in celebration, Caitlin Clark even leaped off the bench. Despite wearing street clothes and having a groin injury, her competitive fire was still burning bright. Clark played the entire game with complete focus. Immediately following McDonald's clutch shot, she was bouncing up and down. Clark's exhilaration and happiness were evident as her colleagues succeeded without her. In addition to securing the victory, McDonald's game-winning three-pointer also won the season series tiebreaker that might decide playoff seats. The Fever's record versus Las Vegas is at 2-1. That tiebreaker edge might come in very handy when it comes to determining playoff positioning. This one wasn't your typical season triumph. It was a declaration regarding what this group can achieve collectively. This victory wasn't the only one. The Indiana Fever were announcing that they are prepared for championship runs in 2025 and beyond. Cunningham's shooting, Mitchell's leadership, and this team's defensive philosophy have all come together to produce something unique that transcends any one player. They are currently in 6th position in the WNBA rankings with a 13-12 win, 12-loss record. More significantly, they defeated Las Vegas in the season series tiebreaker, which may be crucial for playoff tickets. Caitlin Clark will join a squad that has recently demonstrated that they are capable of defeating anybody, anywhere, at any time when she returns healthy. The future appears to be extremely. Indiana is a bright state. If you're fired up, leave a flaming comment, Sophie. Turn on all notifications, like, and subscribe to ensure you don't miss anything. After you click the video on the screen, we'll meet you in the following.